Hey guys, welcome to Overwatch Central and another gameplay hero analysis. We take another look at the beta livestream footage as well as some of the pre-beta footage from the Overwatch channel as we get a closer look at Pharah. Always here to lend a helping hand is Miska. So in this video we're going for more of a typical approach when it comes to analysing these videos, simply because we're switching between 3 different games, so we're going to try and focus on Pharah specifically rather than going into the matches themselves and those compositions. So let's start with the positives from Elohim playing Pharah on the live stream. He seemed to be most comfortable with this hero out of all of them.
Yeah, he picked Pharah several times throughout the livestream, and I think overall he did a pretty good job with her. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's still like new to the game and he's not like that good, but I mean, come on, like he's put next to devs who play this game loads.
Yeah, everybody's going to look bad compared to the devs. Everybody's just look terrible.
Yeah, for sure. So I think he does still like a decent job at it. There are many moments like in which he manages to like pick up quite a few kills and tank through a lot of damage together with whoever is on Mercy. There's someone who's on Mercy quite a lot when they're playing Dorado, like at the start of the stream, and he just like helps Elohim so much and they're just able to push through. He just never dies really. Even when Elohim dies a couple times, he's rested by Mercy as well, so it's a really good job overall with that. He seems to sort of gotten to grips with how to use the rocket launcher like effectively, and there's not many times where he tries to, you know, hit people like mid-air and stuff. He kind of uses the splash damage from the rocket to his advantage. Yeah, it's good work overall for sure.
But you did notice some mistakes from Elohim, some bad habits that really didn't make much of a difference, but he just constantly kept making these mistakes.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of matter of not playing the same hero over and over as well. So when he sort of got back to playing Pharah again, you know, later on, like 10 minutes later or whatever, he sort of kept making those little mistakes. And it wasn't a lot, but it was pretty like obvious stuff, and it might not be as obvious when you're playing because you're very busy with other stuff. But
yeah, we're being very nitpicky here because Elohim did a terrific job. But
yeah, exactly. But the few little things is probably that he stays on the ground like quite a lot, and when I mean like on the ground, it's not just, you know, hanging back like waiting for enemies to pop out. Like he's kind of in the action, and he seems like a person who liked to play those heroes who were, you know, always like very in there and yeah, participating in like every fight, etc. And Pharah can do that, but she needs to be like high up looking over the fight and making sure to take out the enemies and the supports that, you know, the team needs to take out to progress. And Elohim was kind of just sometimes stuck in like doorways, sort of stuck between crossfire basically. And sometimes he got out, like luckily, mainly because of Mercy, and sometimes, most of the time actually, he just ended up dying. Other than that, there wasn't really basic mistakes he made other than the ultimate. Yeah, basically he's a bit too eager with it. There are a couple times where he just misses it completely. Like he sees like 1 or 2 people and just because he's just gotten like, you know, full ultimate charge, he pops it and oh shit, didn't get anyone. And that happens like twice, I think. He also gets like only 1 person a couple times as well, which is a bit, you know, disappointing with an ult like Pharah's because it can cover such a big area, etc. But I'm not gonna give him like too much shit because there's one ultimate that he pulls off at like the most perfect of times really, and it's Zarya like throwing out her gravitation surge, and Elohim is just there, perfect timing, and manages to get the ult off and gets a 4-hero multi-kill, which is just amazing. And it of course turns out to be the play of the game, and it's a really nice one as well. Everyone just sort of cheered, and I think he got the like legendary status on his card after that game as well. It was a really nice play, but yeah, it was one of the few like great ultimates throughout the game.
Let's go over Pharah's abilities a little more. Specifically the concussive shot. We saw quite a lot of it in Elohim's stream, but we also saw a lot of it in the pre-beta footage. There was a nice little trick shot with a concussive shot on Reaper, which didn't quite work, but you get the idea of how it can be used in that way.
Yeah, it was actually like really interesting, and I like the concussive shot as an ability quite a lot, just because it provides a bit of utility, because you can actually like launch yourself sort of out of fights if you just fire it like just like in front of you, and you can also like knock people off big walkways or just totally like off the map, or push them back in like a tunnel or whatever. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, and it also does like a bit of damage. There are examples of in the gameplay preview where like Symmetra's turrets are taken out by the concussive blast, and yeah, like heroes are knocked back into like their cover.
Yeah, you can knock them back into corners and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah, and then Pharah it's just like really easy pickups for Pharah if they're, you know, against the wall, because you can just like aim at the wall and the splash damage kills them. So I think it's a really cool ability, and I want to see like more little cool plays and funny little things
more
like that.
shots.
Yeah, like the Reaper thing in the gameplay preview, stuff like that. And the rocket barrage is of course an ability that, you know, it's sort of the iconic ability of Pharah. It's her ultimate. And like I mentioned, like for Elohim, the use of it is, you know, you have to be kind of careful with it. Because not only do you know, sometimes waste it because you think you found like the perfect moment, but you're just too late. You have to actually count in that you're immobile like whilst you're ulting, like whilst you're firing your rockets. So positioning for the ultimate is key, and it's very easy for like a McCree or a Widowmaker or a Hanzo to take you out midair if you're just, you know, standing still and you're not firing at them. So you need to make sure that you got all enemies sort of in your sight when you're firing that.
On Sunday we put out a video which was 17 little things that we loved about the live stream, and one of my favourite ones was the hero switching and how the teams were constantly trying to counter each other. Elohim started off as a Roadhog, for example, but because the other team countered how he played, he switched to Pharah to try and counter them, and there was a lot of to and fro between the teams with something like this. So I was interested in hearing what heroes you thought Pharah would deal with the best, but also what heroes should you be avoiding at all cost when you're playing a Pharah.
As Pharah, you need to just be moving around in the air constantly, because you are somewhat slow, and if you're just standing still, then, you know, you're a very easy target, especially if you're up in the air. Like, you can't take cover, like, really behind anything. So you need to be very careful and make sure you got, like, eyes on the enemy at all times. Now, Roadhog's hook is pretty much made for hooking, like, people out the sky, and it can be, like, quite devastating. I know there's one point in which he gets hooked by Roadhog and he thinks he gets away, but a Tracer is onto him, so there's always that. You know, you need to be really watching out for that sort of stuff. So as the heroes you're kind of, you know, effective against that need to be watching out for you as a Pharah, definitely Bastion is one that comes to mind, and he's, you know, when he's in his like immobile state with his shield, like the shield might cover the rockets, yes, but you can also just sort of shoot next to him and the splash damage will eventually kill him.
Going back to the pre-beta footage, Pharah got a 37 kill streak, which is insane, it's crazy. But it's also interesting to note that on the top 5 video that we did of heroes that people really want to play, Pharah wasn't in there. But if you had to list heroes based off their effectiveness, where would Pharah be? Because of the footage that we've seen from both the live stream and the pre-beta, I imagine she must be pretty high up.
Yeah, for sure. There seem to be a lot of players that want to main Pharah as well, and there's a lot you can do with her. You don't always have to get, like, you know, loads of kills to be effective either. Just, you know, being there, like, counter pushing, disrupting enemies. I mean, you get sort of, you know, pinged around a bit because of the sort of explosion from the rockets and also the concussive blast. So there's a lot you can sort of do with it, and there are examples of this sort of happen in the gameplay preview. There's a moment in which, like, a lot of pressure is sort of put on Pharah, and there are like quite a number of like enemies that are sort of approaching, and the concussive blast manages to sort of push Hanzo back out of position, but Bastion keeps like sort of just rushing straight towards her, and Pharah needs to sort of back off a little bit. But when Pharah's backed off there, like the enemy sort of makes the mistake of not like chasing after and killing her, so she stays alive, and Bastion sets up his turret on like the payload underneath. And Pharah just goes and gets like a free kill after that. And Winston tries to kill Pharah as well, and Pharah gets out in time and kills Winston as well. So she's sort of like disrupting the team, and then when they finally think they're ready to push forward, Pharah is still around. So, you know, there's kind of a bit of versatility to the hero in that sense, that you can deal a lot of damage and get a lot of kills, but you can also sort of, similar to Winston, disrupt the team and get people out of position, and they don't really know what's happening, and all of a sudden, bam, you're there again, getting the kills.
Yeah, she seems a hero that you should definitely keep track of and make sure that you have a good understanding of her. Thank you very much for watching Overwatch Central. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Overwatch content. Until the next video, take care, and we will see you next time.